Hello everyone, and thank you for being here at Your Tech, Your Voice. Today I'm in beautiful Detroit Lakes, Minnesota, and I am here at Arvig, and with me is Todd Mattson. Todd, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do here and what Arvig does?
Yeah, so Arvig is an ISP in central Minnesota, and we provide internet, phone, TV to our customers in the area, but we also are a fiber transport company, so we provide fiber to a lot of the cell providers like Verizon, T-Mobile, stuff like that. The last mile to their towers. I have been with the company for 14 years. 10 of those years I've been working in the internal IT department. My team is in charge of taking care of all of our employees' laptops, desktops, endpoint computers, so our clients. The company started in 1950 as a standard POTS telephone company. Yeah, it's just been great in beautiful central Minnesota with all the lakes. I love it here.
So Todd, these new Precisions are pretty sleek. What do you think has made them a little bit better from the previous generations?
Yeah, so one of the things Dell has done, I love the fact that they've done this across all of their laptop line on their professional series of laptops, is that they've gone to USB-C charging. The charger that will power a Precision 5550, I could also use in a pinch on a Latitude 5520. Having that unified connector across the board makes a big difference.
Yeah, and we're seeing more of that standardization even with the cell phones and other manufacturers, and it is nice to be able to get another charger in a pinch if you need one.
It's like we learned from the years of multiple chargers from cell phones to standardize as much as possible to make things as easier, and it really makes things smooth, and I'm glad that Dell made that decision.
That's awesome. So obviously you use a lot of Dell equipment, so tell me a little bit about kind of what your normal setup is, maybe for your marketing or engineering team versus your daily office worker. Like what do you normally set them up?
Right, so we primarily have three different setups in the company. Majority of our users are using the Dell Latitude 5500 series line. So right now it'd be the 5520 for the current model. So, and for our power users, most users get the new Precision 5550, which is what we have here.
Yes, I love my 5550.
Oh, it's a beautiful machine, love it. And then for our stationary employees, we're using the Optiplex 7080 Micro.
Great. So how many devices are you and your team managing?
We're managing just over 1,000 devices.
Oh, that's a lot.
We're sitting at about 800 or so Windows machines, and then the rest are primarily iPads.
Nice. So how are you managing that? I mean, that's quite a lot of fleet. You're in the ISP business. I imagine you've got equipment all over the place that's mobile and roaming and up on ladders and all this kind of stuff. Tell me how you manage that.
Yeah, so we have Workspace ONE, and we've had that now. We've just got done with our third year of using Workspace ONE for management for a lot of those endpoints, and it's worked really, really well.
Very good. So you mentioned that the marketing department used Precisions. You're on the 5500 series of the Precision. They recently made some changes to those. Tell me about your experience from what the old ones were to what the new ones are now.
The new Precision line is a lot more sleek, a lot more lighter. Traditional workstation laptop was the big 7 or 8 pound beast that everybody had to carry around and wreck your back with, and now it's 4 pounds or so, 4 or 5 pounds, and you've got just as much power, and it works great. They're really happy with it so far.
That's awesome. So that ability to be able to manage all the CAD CAM drawings and all that, they can just do that with a mobile laptop?
Yeah, I mean, this machine right here, it runs AutoCAD for our engineers. It runs all the Adobe suite for our marketing department. They do it on the same machine, gets sent to both teams. So, and it works great, and they both love it.
Very good. So let's talk a little bit about the monitor setup. So
Sure.
I imagine these folks have more than, they're not working on this 15-inch display.
No,
it's a nice display,
yeah.
but they need a little bit more real estate.
Right, yeah. So, of course, everybody that has a laptop, they work at their desk, and so they get a docking station. And with that docking station, depending on their needs, will determine their monitor layout. We standardize on the Dell 2219H 22-inch monitor P, the Pro line. That's our standard that everybody gets across the company. If a user is determined that they need 4 or more monitors to do their job, we've made the switch to mostly going over to the 43-inch monitor to replace 4 separate monitors. They still get the same screen real estate. It's a lot less setup, a lot less power usage on your building, on your UPS or whatever you have in your building. So it just makes sense in the long term to switch over to that format for us. Yeah.
To go that route. And I'm sure the users aren't going to complain with a 43-inch
No,
monitor.
the less cables that you can get off their desk, the more happy they are. So yeah,
That's right.
It makes it a lot cleaner.
Another point you mentioned about the P monitors, I think the big difference on that between the E version is the ability for that stand.
Yeah,
And
that's that adjustable stand, yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
We've all been to an office where someone's got their monitor stacked up on a couple telephone books. So, we're having that height adjust stand really makes it a lot easier, and it makes it a lot more ergonomic. You don't have people doing this or this. They can adjust it to where they need to have it.
So what's your plans from a company and technology's changing a lot? How do you think things are going to be different in the future from either an endpoint management perspective or, with the work from home, are people going to continue to do that? How do you think that's going to evolve over the next few years as we're coming out of this pandemic?
Well, I mean, it's no secret that the workplace has changed. Everybody knows that. Everyone's going through this workforce transformation a lot quicker than what they maybe anticipated. Last year, the pandemic, the great work from home experience really proved who's ready and who's not. We actually had a really smooth transition. We had, through the course of 2 days, everybody from the office to home.
Wow.
And we had way less calls in my help desk than I was anticipating. I thought the following week we were just going to be ringing off the hook, and we really weren't. Everyone was pretty much ready to go. Throughout I'd say probably within the last 5 years, we really made this transition from being dominantly desktop to dominantly laptop based, and a lot more mobile.
Now, was that because of COVID, or was that?
Let's say over the course of the last 5 years. So,
5 years.
So,
got it.
I mean, we've really made, we're just more mobile. The workforce is more mobile.
It is.
We order a lot more latitudes than we do Optiplex now, a lot more. So you probably see a lot more laptops being issued out so people can just take it wherever they need to work, and that'll be that.
Yeah, I agree with you. So it sounds like your company now is pretty much the standard config is going to be a laptop-based config. And
Pretty much. There'll still be some users that'll still have a desktop just because they don't need to move, like a help desk representative or someplace who they could just work from home. Doesn't make sense to give them a laptop if they're just going to stay home,
right.
And that's going to be their home office, and they're never going to come into the office. It might still make sense to give them a desktop in that case. But there's going to be a lot of people who are going to spend 2 or 3 days in the office and maybe work 1 or 2 days at home on a really, really good basis, in which case then, yeah, we'd move those users over to laptops.
So what about your workers in the field that are out there and they're putting out the fiber lines and maintaining things out in there? How do you handle that? Is that something that you have a special setup for?
Not really, no. They get issued the same as everybody else, really. Knock on wood, the Dell Latitude line has really held up to our needs. Really haven't had too many issues with the standard Latitude line being any less than what we need. It's a little bit more beefier than the consumer line, which is to be expected,
Sure.
And that's been enough for it. It's not going to work for everybody. I mean, Dell's rugged line definitely has a place, but we really don't utilize rugged very much. We just haven't had a need for it.
The Latitudes, they're pretty beefy, and they can handle a lot.
Yep, they can take a little bit of a spill.
Yeah. All right, Todd, so as one of the leaders of the Arvig IT team, and I know there's others to help out and manage everything, but what is the overall vision and plan for Arvig from an IT perspective?
Well, especially in the course of this last year, the need for internet access to our customers has grown exponentially. And not only that, but also security. Arvig's focused on providing better service to our customers, but also doing it in a way that's efficient and secure, because that world has just changed, and we need to stay on top of that. We've moved over from a traditional TV plant to an IP-based TV system. It's actually an app that you can install on like an Amazon Fire Stick or an Apple TV, and our TV service is provided through the app now, not through a traditional set-top box. The requirements for customers to have higher speed is always growing, so we're always improving our network, and with that comes the need for our employees and our staff and our systems to be more efficient, always. So there's always that continual growth, and you stay stagnant in IT for too long, especially in the information sector, you fall behind real quick.
So that's really interesting. I know Arvig started in 1950 as just a traditional telephone company, and they've really transformed many times, throughout the history. And what's super fascinating is your company now with the app to get the streaming services is really in that that modern app world to keep up with,
Yep.
with what customer demand is, but also see the efficiency and those sort of things. So that digital transformation journey that your company is going on is really what I think a lot of people in many different industries are going through.
Oh, absolutely.
So what challenges have you seen? Like what are some of the things that you're like, man, I wish it would just work a little bit better or be a little bit different?
I think the biggest challenge that my team has right now is this shortage that's going on worldwide with LCD panels and chipsets is really causing a lead time on devices that's really hurting everybody. It's from any supplier that you deal with, they're dealing with it. And order a laptop and it's taken 2 months to get in.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple of things that we've done to try to alleviate that.
So tell us about that.
So one thing that we've done is the laptop or the computers that we would normally do a PC cycle on and retire those out, we're hanging on to for emergency use in case, so let's say you get a new hire, but the laptop that we ordered for them is not in yet. Well, that new hire employee, they need a computer to work. So we're hanging on to those older machines as a possible issue out as a temporary until their actual computer gets in, to try and get a little bit of life out, just to kind of cover that bridge. Another thing that I did was I reached out to my Dell rep and I talked about our needs, and we found a configuration that just tweaked a little bit that really helped on lead times.
Well, that's a good tip there for everybody, because that shortage is something that everybody's dealing with.
Yeah, and it's not going to go away anytime in the immediate future.
And what have you learned in the past year or so that really has kind of helped you?
Probably the number one thing in our field is, again, you need to be flexible.
Flexibility.
Because you've always done something a certain way, we're now in a world where that may not work. And so you need to be flexible. You need to understand that what has always worked in the past may not work moving forward. And so you need to be flexible. You also need to realize that everybody's in the same boat. Everybody's working from home. Everybody's frustrated. Everybody's doing things that they've never done before. Calm down. Take a breath. We'll get through it. We tend to forget that we're all just people.
Yeah.
And this last year, everyone just kind of realized that we're all just people trying to make something happen for a common goal. That's their business, why we're there, but we're still all just people.
It's amazing how technology has really helped, people stay together, families stay connected. A lot of birthdays have happened over Zoom and over, Dell laptops and all those kind of things. Have you thought about the plan when companies or your company's like, all right, everybody come back to work now? Have you thought about, okay, what do I need to do to turn the lights on and make sure everything's going to work now that everybody's, coming back to the office?
I'm hoping that it's going to be as smooth as when everybody left, but we're not quite there yet to see that happen. But my team will be there to help people set up. That's what we're here for.
So Dell has announced that they're going to be spinning off VMware, and I know you're a VMware customer and a Dell customer.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on that?
As long as they keep a form of integration like they've had between the two companies, and I think they will. From a customer point of view, I'm not overly concerned about it. I'm interested to see how it affects everything, but as of right now, no red flags are up about it.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is more of a financial play than anything else. Michael Dell's still going to be the chair of the VMware Board of Directors, so that integration is going to stay.
Yep.
And I think it should. I mean, they've got a lot of customers relying on that type integration.
Oh yeah, absolutely. With anywhere from vCenter to Workspace ONE to Horizon, it all ties in together, especially with Dell hardware. Workspace ONE's nice with Dell hardware because I can manage BIOS from the computer and everything with Dell hardware. I can't do that with a lot of if we had other manufacturers in the system too.
I agree, and I think it's also about getting every ounce of efficiency that we can out of both the software and the hardware. And they
Absolutely.
have to be able to talk. We've gotten to the point technology-wise that the software needs to know more of what's going on, and so does the hardware.
Yep.
If you would like to learn more about what our members are doing in the Dell Client Community, I invite you to go to dellclientcommunity.com and become a member. Membership is free.
Your tech, your voice. Thanks for being with us.